Yo, what up? It's your boy Jonathan Whitfield. I'm gonna get straight to the point. Let's talk about Roots versus Hidden Colors for a second. The Roots remake. My main issue with the Roots remake is that I feel like at this point we've had enough of slave movies and enough of slave narratives without the constant balance of Africans setting themselves free and black people fighting for freedom and actually winning with their own help, you know, and using their own tactics, their own religions, their own gods, their own money. You know, we don't ever get to see these movies in mass production. You know, the Roots remake, it make it seem as though black people, Africans, are responsible for slavery because they sold other Africans into slavery. But they don't tell you that African slavery was far different from European slavery. African slavery, you know, they didn't take your religion, they didn't take your tongue, they didn't rip you from your parents, you know, they didn't take your instrument. You was just a slave to the person, a slave to the people. You can ascend into the community, you can even vote in African slavery. You know, they didn't kill you, they didn't rip the babies from your stomach like that in African slavery. So in a sense, when Africans sold other Africans into slavery, it was no different from some of the slavery around the world, because slavery was a big deal around the world, and it was no different in Africa except for European slavery. You know, and some of the Africans were even forced to sell other Africans, or they themselves would be overtaken and sold into slavery. So it was a big game. So they make it feel like, oh man, it was our fault. We are at fault for slavery. That's the little nuances that they tell you or they put in these movies. And I don't appreciate that. You know, and plus we are not the authors of these stories like 12 Years a Slave. I mean, we are the authors, but like Roots remake and stuff like that, we're not the overall author. We're not telling these stories. Because there's always a white overseer to say, okay, this is not going to go along with the status quo. You know, if it gets too much of a revolution, then the people, you know, it's gonna mess up the status quo in America. So we've had enough of that. But they don't in mass production, they don't put out these stories like the Haitian Revolution, what really happened. You know, they'll put out 12 Years a Slave and Django and Roots and mass production, but we are still slaves though. At the end of the day, we didn't set ourselves free; they set us free. You know, we didn't do anything. They put us and let us out of slavery. This is what we're not telling these stories, and that's my main issue. Roots is good. I'm not saying not watch it, but I'm just saying you have an open mind and know what's going on. You know, you can't. I mean, my first introduction to, I guess, our condition here in America was Roots. I'll be honest, Roots from back in the day, and it was good. You know, it was good. It was good, but it was diluted. You know, if I would have stopped my knowledge right there, then all I would have thought was, man, you know, we are nothing in this country. You know what I'm saying? We are nothing. So look at the movie Gods of Egypt. Gods of Egypt. You know, every person of melanated skin, pigment, is a slave in Gods of Egypt, the movie. And every person of lighter skin, white skin, European, are the kings and queens. We know it's a straight up lie. How can they put that out there? But they will mass produce that, and they will mass produce slaves, but they won't mass produce us as kings, queens, you know, revolutionaries. You guys need to go see a movie called A Spook Who Sat by the Door. A Spook Who Sat by the Door is a movie about a back in the 1960s, 70s. Black man was a CIA agent. He was the only one of his people to ascend to that level. So instead of him helping out the CIA, he went back and taught his people the same tactics and how to, you know, fight for themselves, and they started a revolution in the country. See, this movie was pulled from theaters back in the day because they feared that if it catch on, black people would start a revolution. It's called A Spook Who Sat by the Door. But they won't mass produce stuff like that. But these stuff like that is true, you know. So that's my main issue. Now with Hidden Colors, this is the number one selling black history documentary in America today and throughout the world. They got 4. It's a series. Currently it's number 4 right now. He owned number 4. It just came out. Go order it on Amazon. But it talks about black history, African history, black American history, but from a black perspective. It's black produced, black owned, black money, grassroots. It talks about white supremacy. It talks about the true things that are going on. And it's on Amazon right now. I think it's currently at number 8. And it tells the true story from our perspective. But see, I guess the white supremacists, they don't validate this type of stuff. And sometimes we ourselves don't validate this stuff because it's from black people. And we need a white person to say, oh, this is real. But in Hidden Color series, you got black doctors, lawyers, teachers, preachers, everything in this movie with the historians that's telling our story, trying to teach our people. So we say we want our own story. We say we want our own movies to teach our own people, but when we get them, sometimes we don't support them. Now, fortunately with this, we are supporting Hidden Colors. But with the success of Hidden Colors, it being the #1 Black history documentary in the world ever, it being #8 on Amazon, outselling major multi-million-dollar movies on Amazon right now, like Gods of Egypt and stuff like that, and it's not getting no mainstream coverage. The reason why is because it goes against the status quo, and that's my issue with these slave movies. We are not the authors, because we are not. If we tell the story from our perspective, then our people will become free and conscious, because media, print, music is one of the strongest forms of enlightening your people, enlightening everybody. And since we've been in this country, we have always been slighted in the image of the media for the people. So they have to keep us in a subservient form in the view of many people. So when things happen, they're like, okay, they just black people acting up again. But they don't show two sides of it. So I agree with Snoop. Some of the things Snoop said, and I disagree with some of the things he said. I agree with Roland Martin, some of the things he said, and I disagree with some of the things he said. Now, yeah, Snoop, he should, put him in the way his mouth is, and he a millionaire. He should help produce these movies, because we need people like him to put their money behind stuff like Hidden Colors so they can get out there in mass, even though it's still doing good. But at the same time, he's not wrong with what he's saying. We tired of seeing this, man, and a younger generation is tired of seeing this. They want some. Every other culture, you see them have their you see the story like the Holocaust. Yeah, you see the Jewish Holocaust. You see the sadness and all the stuff that happened, but you also see the success. They tell their own stories how they want to tell them. You don't get the pain without the glory. You don't get that. With us, you only get the pain. We always the slave. We always the one being beaten. We always the one asking master for help. And we sick of this, man. This younger generation is sick of it. I'm sick of it. And y'all gotta wake up. A lot of us gotta wake up. I ain't gonna say y'all, we gotta wake up more. But I think the good thing is that we are waking up. But I'm not saying go watch Roots. Roots is good. It's good. But just don't stop at Roots, because our history doesn't start with slavery. It doesn't start with slavery. I think I'm losing light. It doesn't start with slavery. So you gotta understand that, man. I know I'm talking fast, but I'm passionate about this, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why I do a lot of research on my people. I'm waiting on a good documentary for like the Haitian Revolution from our perspective, because America wouldn't be America today without the Haitian Revolution, because France owned a part where Louisiana and all that western out there, that western land out there. France owned all of that. And when the Haitians rose up and fought against France and won their freedom, France could no longer finance the war going on in Haiti. They couldn't finance the war going on in Haiti, and they couldn't finance the land they had in America. So because the Haitian Revolution broke the back of broke the financial back of the French army and economy, they had to sell the land they had in America, which was called the Louisiana Purchase, which allowed America to expand westward and own this whole North America thing that we own right now. They don't tell you that. It was the Haitians that allowed us to have this. But they don't tell you how the people rose up among themselves. They don't tell the stories of Africans who were on the slave ships, who overthrew the slave ship and guided themselves back to Africa. They don't tell you that. They don't tell you about the hundreds of thousands of Africans who resisted colonialism. They don't tell you about the entire African armies that were comprised of women, totally of women who fought off European colonization. They don't tell you these things. And these stories, we need to get out there. They are out there. We put them out there, but it's hard because they're not mass produced. And sometimes as black people, I hate to say it, anything that's not white validated, we don't give it no credence, man. So that's our fault. We got all the doctors and lawyers and PhDs that we have. We gotta trust some of them. But I know sometimes why we don't trust them. But I'm passionate about this, man. So y'all look it up. Go watch Roots, go watch Hidden Colors, but do some research, do your history, know your history, and yeah, man, make it happen like that. I'm out.